Hi, my name is Mark Blakemore. If you're watching this video, chances are you had it referred to you by a friend, or you possibly Googled it on YouTube. But regardless, I'm glad you're here and I want to welcome you. What I'm here to do is I'm here to introduce myself, and I want to lay out kind of like my plans for what I want to do with this channel. As I said, my name is Mark Blakemore. I grew up in Streator, Illinois, about an hour, a little over an hour south of Chicago. I grew up in Streator, Illinois during the 1960s and the 1970s, and I had arguably one of the greatest childhoods you can ever imagine. What I appreciated later on, though, was the example that I had set before me by men and women from the community. None like that of my father. I grew up with probably the most influential man in my life. I didn't know it at the time. It's one of those things you don't realize it until after you're gone. You realize the example and how powerful that was. Between my father, these men and women from Streator, Illinois, what I learned and what I say later on now as I'm older and I'm a grown man is their example set. They provided examples by answering questions to questions I didn't have, giving me answers to questions I didn't have. Nobody better than my father could I ever see that you could always count on doing the harder right rather than the easier wrong. Look, I'm not a trained guy. I've got a military background. I was a school teacher and a coach. And I spent probably about the last 25 years just really paying attention. I've sought out mentors. I've done a lot of reading. And my purpose, look, I grew up, I never wanted to make $1 million, but I wanted to make a difference. That's what my attempt is here. I will go on also as far as my introduction to say that I'm married. Married the only girl I'd ever marry. Been married for over 25 years. If I ever bring her up, I'm not going to say her name. I never hardly call her by her name. She's Mama. Been married for over 25 years, and it was her father who was probably the second most influential man I've met. A guy I've only known him for a short time in my life. Unfortunately, he's passed away here, but he was a World War II vet. He was an ex-POW. And here's a guy, he was cut out of the same cloth as my father. So I've had great examples. I say that because my purpose is, what I want to do is I'm going to share with you. I'm going to challenge you to pursue perfection in an effort to live well in your character. I'm not going to give you ideas. I'm not going to sit here and give you advice. That's not my gig. What I do is through my experience, I'm going to share my observations and my perspective. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to challenge you as hard chargers to go out and make a difference and change this world. So with that, I'm just going to leave it at this. This is my introduction of me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this up, and I'm going to give a little bit more in-depth on what it is I'm going to do. And I will say, I'll say this, I'll be so bold to come right after you and say, if you're a young man or a young woman who really wants to pursue excellence, I think you're in the right place. Until we talk next time, have a great night.